Hello, my name is Peter Bui. My partner Mark is not here with us, but he was here with the prior recording because this is a re-recording of our presentation. For project one, we are tasked with um, taking in two integer values and determining whether or not that is a proper improper fraction, where a proper fraction would be a number in the numerator that is lower than the denominator. An improper fraction consists of the numerator being larger than the denominator, or the numerator being divided by itself, and a mixed fraction constituting of a whole integer value followed by a proper fraction. And in this case, in the case of a mixed fraction, they want us to return the whole integer value added by the remainder divided by the denominator. So for my program, I first imported scanner, as you can see here, followed by our public class is fraction3, and then our main method. You can see we have a character keep going assigned to the value of y. This will ensure that our while loop continues going on as long as our value is equal to y. And when did we first run this program? It prompts the user and describes them what our program does, which is takes in a numerator and denominator, two integer values, and returns whether or not it is a proper fraction. So it then proceeds to our while loop and into a try and catch block. Inside the try and catch block, it takes in two integer values, a numerator and a denominator, and assigns it as such. If the denominator is equal to 0, say for example, we have 1 and 0, it tells the user it cannot divide it by 0 using this continue here, and then goes back to the beginning of the try block. If it passes that, say 1 and 1, it will then go ahead and proceed to go to our fraction method, which passes along two integer values, our two integer values of numerator and denominator. And here you can see we have a string method here, string fraction, which takes in two integer values. We first assign our integer values to the result variable. You see here that's formulated inside of our output method that was required by the prerequisites. It it then goes through this function here. So the one we're going to try right now is the number divided by itself. So I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna do another example. 2 over 2. If the remainder is 0, which in this case it will be because we have 2 followed by 2. It's going to go ahead and print out this over here. There we go. And 2 over 2 is an improper fraction and can be reduced by 2, 1. And then after it exits this, so it returns a value, and then it goes back to our keep going. So it returns control back to this main function here, and it prompts the user if they would like to continue, as well as reassigns the variable keep going. In this case, we're going to keep going. Now, for our second edge case, we have integer 1 followed by something lower, let's say -2. How this is handled is we're taking the absolute value of our numerator and our denominator. And if our numerator is less than our denominator, then it passes along this if block here into another one. Now, if the denominator is a negative value, I reassign it to the numerator by multiplying it by 1 and by taking the math.absolute of the denominator and returning that. Here, you can see it's being returned as a string. And we would like to do more math. Yes. Now, for the third case here, we have our other improper fraction. So we're going to go ahead and enter a numerator of 15 as well as a denominator of 6. Inside this, and what happens here is it will pass through these checks. The remainder will not be equal to 0. And instead, we'll return a whole integer value by dividing and using int num n over d. This would truncate our number to 2 and remove and discard all of the decimal values, as well as using the modulus here. So remainder is equal to n modulus d. And we use the absolute value here because we already have the negative or positive sign from our integer value. And then it uses the absolute value for d as well, because we don't need the negative value, and returns that.